Warning, the following 30-minute pre-recorded podcast contains a guy giving his own personal opinions going on in sports, entertainment, and other things happening in the world, but no politics. Also, he will try his best not to swear, but then again, he might let out a swear or two loose because that's how people talk sometimes. So, if you do not want to hear him babble and possibly swear for about 30 minutes, you may click out at this time. And if you have not clicked off, enjoy the podcast.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
Hello everybody and welcome to Colton's Not So Live podcast. The podcast where I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. You know, you're probably saying, why are you feeling good, Colton? Well, that is because this past Saturday, the Ohio State Buckeyes took on the number one team in the country, the Texas Longhorns. And you know what happened? We won. Yep, we beat the number one team in the country. We beat the Texas Longhorns in our home stadium 14-7. And for the first time in like 40 years, we have beaten the number one team in the country in the shoe. Last time we did that, it was in 1985 against Iowa. And yes, Iowa was number one at some point. How? I don't know. But yeah, so Ohio State beat Texas, and we're going to review this game. So, the defense. They showed up. The defense showed up, seriously. It was so incredible that I was like, whoa, this defense is legit. It seemed legit to me. The defense seems legit to me, seriously. Especially in the red zone and on the goal line. Because that goal line stop, when I saw that goal line stop, I was like, whoa. This is good. This is what we like to see. And also, we basically stopped the Texas run and their passing game. And it was amazing. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Very, very, very beautiful. And yeah, I was pleased with what I saw with the defense. So, yeah. Defense definitely showed up. And they played their hearts out. And yeah, Matt Patricia, man. He did very well calling the plays. Now, a lot of people didn't like Jim Knowles calling the plays. And yeah. But now Jim Knowles is at Penn State. And what I saw from here, the differences between Knowles and Patricia, I think Patricia's like more locked in, where Knowles was like a little bit, loose and stuff. He still had, pretty good, defensive plans and defensive plays, but we were looking for, more tough and more physical defensive plays. So I definitely believe that, like, Patricia's defense looks way better than Knowles. Seriously, it does. Now we're going to move on to the offense. Offense, they did pretty good. Needs a little work, but pretty good. Carnell Tate had an amazing double catch for a touchdown. He literally caught the ball, and then the Texas defender swatted the ball out of his hands, and he caught it again. He caught the ball again. Carnell Tate caught the ball twice, and it was amazing. So he caught it, Texas swatted it, and then he caught it again. Like, that was amazing. And then the running backs, C.J. Donaldson and James Peoples, that was pretty good. Seriously. I think C.J. Donaldson deserves his shot to be running back number 1. Because seriously, he is a power running back. Like, seriously. If he goes straight into that defensive line, he is going to continue to push until he's got either the first down or he's in the end zone. Seriously. Because, honestly, I feel like I consider C.J. Donaldson like a fullback. Like a new generation of fullback. Like, the fullback position's kind of extinct, but I think he's going to bring that position back. And you can have James Peoples as the halfback. So, James Peoples can, run for, trying to get yardage to, get near the red zone or the goal line. And then you have C.J. Donaldson, try and, power his way through for the first down or through the end zone for a touchdown. Because seriously, that could happen. That could happen. You put C.J. Donaldson at fullback, James Peoples at halfback. That could work. Like, seriously, the 2 running back system, it can work if you have Donaldson at fullback and Peoples at running back. Or halfback, whatever you want to call it. But seriously, that is... The running game is good. Very good. Passing game, Julian Sayin, he did pretty well for his first game, especially against the number 1 team in the country. 13 for 20. It's not bad. A little improvement, but we'll get there. 1 touchdown and 126 yards passing. Obviously, we couldn't get Jeremiah Smith a lot of passing yards due to Texas, being on him 24/7, but don't worry, Jeremiah Smith will break out. He will break out. And Julian Sayin became the first quarterback in a long time, since like 1984, to win against the number 1 team in the country as the starter in his first ever starting game. And guess who did it before? You'll never guess in a million years. Oh boy. It was Jim Harbaugh in 1984. Yeah, Jim Harbaugh. When he played for Michigan and he was the starting quarterback for the first time ever, playing against number 1 Miami, he beat them. How? I don't know. Well, he had Bo Schembechler as his coach, so obviously that is a reason. But yeah, enough about me talking about Michigan. That's the only thing. Well, it probably won't be the only thing because I've got one college game that you guys need to look out for, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, sadly I'm not done talking about Michigan. So yeah. Brian Hartline called the offensive plays. He did pretty well. Could use a little work, though. Still. Did good. Could use a little work. Because I feel like I felt like he was, instituting that Tressel ball era that he used to be coached under back when he played for Ohio State under Jim Tressel. So we're literally seeing Tressel ball being played in the 2020s. So yeah. Tressel ball in the 2020s. Crazy. And oops, sorry, that was my phone. I forgot to turn it off. I forgot to silence it. Whoops. But let's talk about Texas. Their defense wasn't really that good. They gave up 14 points on us, which is quite crazy. It was a low-scoring game, 14-7. I thought it'd be a high-scoring game, like 42-24. That was my my score prediction. But no, low scoring game. Defenses went crazy. Texas defense couldn't hold us off because we just, went crazy with the football. And Texas's offense was honestly not that good. And Arch Manning in that game has proven that he is the most overhyped and overrated quarterback this year. Seriously. All this hype and all this talk about how Arch Manning is going to torch Ohio State's defense and how he's going to be super awesome and that he is the nephew of Eli and Peyton Manning and that he's going to be super awesome in this game. Yeah, it didn't happen. It didn't happen at all. Now, honestly, I feel like Arch Manning's going to have a good time as quarterback. He will break through. It'll just take a while. Like a lot of greats who have like either children or, other family like nephews or cousins. Some family members, don't really do well in like sports. It's true. Some family members might see success or they might see not so much success. And right now it looks like Arch Manning's going towards the not so much success right now. Now he is playing for a power forward team, but if something were to happen during the next 11 games that he has to play this season, maybe Steve Sarkisian may be looking for a new quarterback. And or maybe Arch Manning will hit the transfer portal and go to somewhere he will be fully developed at. Who knows? It all depends on what happens in the next 11 games he has to play. So yeah. Alright. Now that I'm done talking about the Ohio State-Texas game, it is now time to preview the Ohio State versus Grambling State game. Now, this is the first ever meeting between Grambling State and Ohio State. Now, Ohio State and Grambling State, they have a lot in common. One, they have a ton of national championships. Both teams have had great success and they've won a lot of national championships. Two, they've created a lot of talent and legends. Three, they both have really good marching bands, seriously. Now, the legends that, Grambling State has created, there's a lot of familiar names, like Pro Football Hall of Famers like Willie Brown, Buck Buchanan, Willie Davis, Charlie Joyner, and College Football Hall of Famer Doug Williams, and Paul Younger, and Eddie Robinson, and Gary Johnson. Now, I said a very familiar name that a lot of people probably know, Doug Williams. He was the quarterback for the Washington Commanders, and he led them to a Super Bowl title. And I think Doug Williams, he's a senior analyst for the Commanders as well, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, like a senior analyst or a senior advisor, which is pretty cool that Doug Williams has been around for Washington since he retired from professional football. Also, a little fun fact about Doug Williams, he actually helped Grambling State after, he played for Grambling State and went into the NFL, played in the NFL, retired after a couple, seasons in the NFL. Well, after many seasons in the NFL. He came back to Grambling State and won a couple of national championships with Grambling State, which is pretty cool. So yeah, Grambling State has done a lot of stuff. Ohio State has done a lot of stuff. And it's going to be interesting to see what Grambling State can do against Ohio State. Now, I know there's a lot of people that say, oh, come on, Colton, this is an FCS team. There's no way Grambling State's going to win. True, but we've seen crazier stuff happen. Like, remember when Appalachian State, people said they had no chance against Michigan in 2007? Guess what? Appalachian State beat Michigan. Surprise. Now, I'm not saying that Ohio State could lose. Well, technically, yeah. Still, Ohio State could lose to Grambling State. Then again, it might not happen. Either one of two ways could happen. A shocking upset, or just, a regular win over the FCS. But the game has to be played, of course, first. And obviously, you guys know I'm going to pick Ohio State because I'm an Ohio State fan, but I will say this. Grambling State will score points on us. So, with that, I believe the final score will be 42-17. So, yeah, Grambling State will score 17 points on us, but we'll score 52. So, yeah. Grambling State 17, Ohio State 42. That is my score prediction. And fun fact about this game, guys. I'm actually going to the game. Yeah, I'm going to the Grambling State Ohio State game. And this will be my first ever Ohio State game that I will see live in the shoe. I've seen Ohio State play many football games on TV. I have never been to an actual game. And you're probably like, what? You're like the biggest fan ever. Why haven't you gone to an Ohio State game yet? Well, stuff. That's the only reason I can give you. Stuff. Stuff has happened. And that's why I couldn't go. So yeah, it'll be I am very excited to see these two teams play. Grambling State and Ohio State. Especially the halftime show. Because in the halftime show, the Ohio State University Marching Band and the Alumni Band of Ohio State are going to do quadruple Script Ohio. Which means Script Ohio is going to be in the north, south, east, and west sides of the stadium. And it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a piece of art. And then after they do that, Grambling State's band is also going to do a little halftime show, which I am actually pretty excited to see. I want to see what they can do. Like, a lot of people say our, band is the best damn band in the land. But I want to see if, Grambling State should also deserve this title, because I heard they have a really, really famous marching band, and I'm psyched to see what they can do. Seriously. Marching bands are cool. Now, a lot of people saying marching bands are not, that cool, but they are cool. They are cool. I mean, you gotta have a marching band for football season. If you don't, then what's the point? Seriously. What is the point? Alright, now that we've done the preview for Ohio State Grambling State, it's now time to talk about the rest of week 1. Holy crap. Week 1 was madness. Madness. And you want to know why? I'll give you some reasons why. Florida State. Underdogs against Alabama, who was number 8. Guess what? They upset number 8 Alabama. Yeah, Florida State upset Alabama. What? South Florida upset number 25 Boise State. What? LSU upset number 4 Clemson. What? Number 10 Miami upsets number 6 Notre Dame. What? And TCU goes into Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and spoils the debut of 6-time Super Bowl winning coach Bill Belichick. How does that happen? No, seriously, how does that happen? I don't know. It was crazy. Week 1 was amazing. Yeah, Ohio State beat the number 1 team in the country. Yes! And then you got Alabama losing to Florida State. I was like, what? Whoa! And then obviously Boise State losing. And I go, whoa, how's that happen? They were in the playoffs last year. But they did lose, good players. So that could also be a problem to the draft and stuff. But then you got LSU coming out of nowhere, beating Clemson, the ACC champions, and first round exit team. Crazy. And then you got Miami beating the defending national runner-ups. Miami beating Notre Dame, who was in the national championship with Ohio State last season. And they beat them. Miami beat them. And C.J. Carr, the grandson of Lloyd Carr, that head coach of Michigan that people know, Lloyd Carr's grandson, C.J. Carr, almost beat Miami. But then again, this was his first ever start. He was going against a top 10 team. And guess what? He lost. Now, will Notre Dame bounce back after this? Yeah, probably. I mean, after that, Notre Dame's got, I don't think they really play anybody. Because Miami was a perfect game to start with in the season. Because that was Catholics versus convicts. The renewing of that. And to see Notre Dame lose that, I honestly thought Notre Dame was going to win. I thought Notre Dame was going to win and Miami was going to drop the ball like they always do. But no. Apparently they didn't. Apparently they did not. So yeah. So week 2 right now, which is this week, Texas A&M plays Notre Dame at Notre Dame. Now, if Notre Dame somehow loses that one, you could just say, yeah, Notre Dame's not making the playoffs this year. Because last year, Notre Dame made the playoffs by winning out. So if they lose another top 25 game, you could basically just write out Notre Dame out of the playoff conversation. Because the rest of the teams they play are Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, USC, Boston College, Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, and Stanford. And right now, all those opponents I just named off, not even ranked in the top 25. Not even ranked in the top 25. So, Notre Dame, if they lose to Texas A&M, they were going to have to pray to touchdown Jesus that one of those teams gets ranked and they get a quality win against them. Because if they don't, you might as well write Notre Dame out of the playoff picture because it's not looking good. Notre Dame, they only have 2 ranked matchups, last week and this week. Now, if they don't win, it's basically over for Notre Dame because they got no more ranked opponents. So, yeah. Alabama now. Alabama's a different situation. I mean, Alabama, they went from 8th to 21st in the polls, in the AP poll. And they play Wisconsin. And now I feel like Wisconsin... excuse me. I feel like Wisconsin has a chance against Alabama. Because if you lose to Florida State by 14 points, then something's wrong with the program. Something's wrong with Kalen DeBoer's coaching. And then after Wisconsin, they had to play Georgia, which obviously Georgia's going to win that. There's no way Alabama's going to win that. Vanderbilt might actually upset Alabama again. And then Tennessee, Tennessee's going to flatten Alabama. South Carolina, Alabama, looking at their schedule, they're going to go through a blender. And it's going to be terrible. Heck, they might lose to Auburn this year. That is a hot take, and I definitely believe they're going to lose to Auburn this year. So write that down. Colton says Auburn will beat Alabama this year. So, yeah. And then Clemson, Clemson losing to LSU kind of solidifies me saying that SMU deserves to be the ACC champion, so. But hey, who knows? Anything can happen. Clemson could still win the ACC. I mean, LSU was just a non-conference game. And LSU winning against Clemson basically says, hey, we can hang with our conference opponents if they're ranked or not. So you might see LSU as a SEC championship contender. Possibly. And then Bill Belichick losing to TCU. Wow. That was insane. I don't know what was going through Bill Belichick's mind during the game, but I'm pretty sure he was confused. And looking over the rest of the schedule for North Carolina, they might have some trouble with, honestly, Clemson. But then again, I might be wrong. They might have some trouble against Stanford or California. And maybe Duke and NC State as well. What I like about this schedule for North Carolina, they have to play Duke and NC State back to back. So, on the week before rivalry week and on rivalry week. That is crazy. You play one rival before rivalry week, and then you play another rival on rivalry week. Insane. Oh, wait. Correction. 3 rivals. I just learned that Wake Forest is also a rival. So you got 3 rivals as your last 3 games of the season. You might lose to all of them. If Bill Belichick loses to all 3 of those rivals, that's crazy. That is crazy. And also Virginia's a rival in football for North Carolina, which is insane. But yeah. If you lose to all 4 of those rivals, which I don't think Bill Belichick will lose all 4, but that does happen. NC State might be, not NC State, North Carolina might be rethinking their decision to hire Bill Belichick. So Virginia, they shouldn't have any problem. Wake Forest, maybe. Duke, definitely. NC State, definitely. So yeah, Bill Belichick, you better watch out. You might be on the hot seat. And I know that's another hot take, but it's what I'm seeing. It's what I'm seeing. Okay? So yeah. Alright, folks. That is it for me talking about week 1 of college football. It was insane and crazy and full of madness. Kind of like March Madness, but in the fall. Now it's time to get on with high school football week 3 in Columbus. Yeah. So, last week, I went 14-9. I got 14 correct again, but this time I got 9 wrong. So yeah, that sucks. So right now I have, I think, 18 games. I'm going to double check and count them. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. On the other page, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah. 18 football games, and that's including my pick for game of the week. So, without further ado, let's get on with the Week 3 high school football picks here in Columbus. So, we got number 1, Bishop Watterson versus Westerville North. I'm going Bishop Watterson because North got put through a blender against Olentangy Orange, like 42-0. And Bishop Watterson is going to put North through a blender again. So, yeah, Bishop Watterson over Westerville North. Next game, we got Reynoldsburg against number 3, Upper Arlington. Going Upper Arlington on this one. Number 6, Olentangy Liberty against number 5, Gahanna Lincoln. Going with Gahanna Lincoln. Number 7, Big Walnut against Number 24, Groveport Madison. I'm going with the Big Nut. And yes, I did say the Big Nut. Because big what? Big Nut. So yeah, Big Walnut over Groveport Madison. Next game. Number 9, Olentangy versus number 8, Olentangy Orange. Now, Olentangy's done pretty good. Olentangy Orange, I think they've done better. They do things better. Play offense better and defense better. So therefore, I'm picking Olentangy Orange over Olentangy. Number 10, Olentangy Berlin against number 22, New Albany. Honestly, New Albany, they start 0-2, and I really thought they were going to do good this season, but I kind of now doubt it. So I'm going with Olentangy Berlin to beat New Albany. Next game, we got Pure Cell Marion against Harvest Prep. I'm going with Pure Cell Marion to defeat Harvest Prep. And also, Harvest Prep is 0-2 as well. And honestly, I think Pure Cell Marion's going to get the W. Number 12, St. Francis de Sales against Afrocentric. I'm picking Afrocentric to upset St. Francis de Sales. So yeah, I'm going with Afrocentric on that one. Franklin Heights versus London. I'm picking London. London's number 13 in Central Ohio and the Columbus area. So I'm going to go with London. Number 17, Hilliard Bradley against number 14, Grove City. Going with Grove City. Alright, the next game we have is number 15, Canal Winchester against Worthington Kilbourne. I'm going to go with Canal Winchester. Number 16, Dublin Kaufman, and number 18, Dublin Jerome, another rivalry game. I'm going with Dublin Jerome. And the next game, it's my alma mater again, Westerville South, number 19 in Columbus, against St. Charles. I'm going with the alma mater, Westerville South, over St. Charles. Number 20, Hilliard Davidson against Miamisburg. I'm going Hilliard Davidson. Walnut Ridge versus number 21, Bishop Hartley. I'm going with Bishop Hartley. Number 23, West Holmes against Dover. I'm going with West Holmes. Number 25, Shelby against Bellevue High School. I'm going with Shelby to beat Bellevue. So, yeah. All right. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for my high school football game of the week. And it is a big rivalry game. And it's also the Friday Night Rivals game on the CW Columbus. So if you're in Columbus or you're locally here in Columbus and you want to watch this game, you can. Just go to the CW Columbus on your TV and you can watch it. But do check your local listings for the CW. And if you can't watch it on TV, they will have it on their website, cwcolumbus.com, and on the ABC6 YouTube channel. So yeah. So this week, the game of the week, number 2, Pickerington Central against number 4, Pickerington North. Yes, it's the Battle of Pickerington. Now, let me tell you guys something. These two teams have developed amazing Division I talent. Seriously. We're talking Lorenzo Styles Jr., who plays for Ohio State, Sonny Styles, Lorenzo Styles Jr.'s brother. Sonny Styles, yeah. He plays for Ohio State. And Jack Sawyer played for Pick North. And he went to Ohio State and won a national championship. Same with the Styles brothers. But the Styles brothers, I believe they played for Pick Central. I'm pretty sure they played for Pick Central. Let me double check my source, which is my brain. So I do believe Sonny Styles and Lorenzo Styles played for Pick Central. Yep. Sonny Styles played for Pick Central and Lorenzo played for Pick Central. So the Styles brothers went to Pick Central and went to Ohio State. Yeah. And won national championship. So yeah, a lot of good talent has come from both high schools, Pickerington Central and Pickerington North. Now you gotta ask yourself, which of the Pickerington schools will win this epic football game? This epic rivalry. And guess what? The winner goes home with a victory bell. Seriously. It's a cool rivalry trophy. Now, it's going to be very, very fierce. Very competitive. But you got to ask yourself, who's had more success? Pick Central or Pick North? And by my statistics, Pick Central has 2 state titles in football. You hear that? 2 state titles in football. Pick North has none. So I basically said, you know what? Keep it simple. Just keep it simple. I'm going with Pick Central to defeat Pick North in this epic rivalry game. So yeah, Pickerington Central over Pickerington North. And that is my pick for the game of the week. Let's go for me being two for 3 on the game of the week. I'm 1 for 2 right now, so let's be 2 for 3. So yeah. Alright, that's all my high school football picks for this week. Hopefully I go 18-0. Maybe, who knows. And now, before we end this episode, time for some college football games for you to watch. First one is Iowa State versus Iowa, and that's a rivalry game. Battle for the Cy-Hawk Trophy. I'm picking Iowa State to defeat Iowa because I think Iowa State's better than Iowa, and Iowa State will have the Cy-Hawk Trophy in their hands. That's a true fact. Second game, I mentioned this before. Texas A&M versus Notre Dame. That's a toss-up for me. I honestly don't know who's going to win that game. But I'm kind of leaning towards Texas A&M. So, yeah, I can't really make a decision, really. But I lean towards Texas A&M. And then the final game, it's going to be a primetime game. Oklahoma versus the Cheaters. Now, you're probably like, Oklahoma versus the Cheaters? Who's the Cheaters? The Cheaters is basically that team up north. But yeah, I'm still a bit salty that Michigan got away with cheating, but it's whatever. I just gotta suck it up and, just live with it. And now I'm hearing, I've been hearing on social media that Ohio State should have their national title vacated by a bunch of Michigan fans. Yeah, a bunch of Michigan fans said, oh, Ohio State had a former Michigan player on their team lie to the NCAA, and therefore Ohio State should lose their national championship. Bruh. If you didn't lose your national championship, then we're not losing our national championship. So yeah, if you didn't get your title vacated, we aren't getting our title vacated either, so deal with it. Seriously, I know Ohio State fans have been wanting the hammer to drop, but it didn't, so we just gotta live with it. And then you got Michigan fans doing that. Like, bro, we've learned our lesson, leave us alone. We don't need you guys to, go, get Ohio State's title vacated, please. That's a dirty title. You're basically doing the same thing we're doing. Like, seriously, come on. If you give up that act, we'll give up our act, okay? Sheesh. So, yeah. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this episode of the podcast. Thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please support my channel by smashing a like on it. Subscribe if you're new to my channel. Check out my other videos I've uploaded to my channel. Also, if you're starting on this podcast, I have a playlist of all my podcasts in my playlist section. So if you're starting on this episode, go to my podcast section. Start on episode 1. Go through episode 2 and 3. Because they're pretty good podcasts. And I take extraordinary amount of time to make sure that they're awesome and good. Hopefully. I hope. So yeah. And also check out my gaming videos I've done on my channel. And right now I'm currently almost done with NCAA football. I've recorded a couple of episodes. I've recorded up to game 12. And then I'm soon to be working on possibly the last 4 games of College Football 26. So yeah, hopefully I can get College Football 26 done, and then I'll take a break from, Let's Playing and focus on the podcast and stuff and get all that stuff done. So yeah, you might not see, any video game videos for a while, but you'll see podcast episodes. So yeah, cool. But yeah, time for me to end this show right now. So again, thank you all for tuning in and listening. And I'll see y'all next time for another great episode of Colton R's Not So Life podcast. So until then, I'll see y'all in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Disappointed!
Oh my god, I'm so excited to go to the freaking Ohio State game. It's gonna be so awesome! It's awesome!